3 washes every watercolorist needs to master, including you.
I know we could be a splash of paint in a world that's otherwise so gray. Take me by my arms.
Welcome, I'm Elisa, mom of 3 and fine art watercolorist. If you're new to this channel and you want to learn how to paint fine art watercolors, learn more about the best materials, and watch some speed painting, start now by subscribing and clicking on the bell so you don't miss out on anything. The first 3 washes that you need to master are the flat, gradated, and variegated washes. Feel free to pause this video if needed. Now come with me to create the perfect wash.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do as we create our washes is tape our paper down. I'm just using a professional painter's tape, masking tape. This works really well. It comes off without damaging my paper, and it's really sturdy. I've tried to do artist tape, but most of the time that just comes up when I try to put water on my paper. This works a lot better. So this will allow for our paper to stay flat and not buckle so much. The next thing you're going to do is make 3 sections.
So the first thing I want you to do after you've set up your paper and your paints is you need to put something under your board so that your board is actually at a 20-degree angle. Now you want this to have your paint kind of be pulled down your paper so it's not pooling in one spot and creating blemishes that you do not want to have. My board might not look like there's anything under it, but that's because my whole table is at a 20-degree angle. Okay, we're gonna start with our flat wash. Put water into your palette in one of your wells. Now you need a lot of water, so use your largest brush or an eyedropper to add water to your palette. Get a big puddle of water. If using dried paint or pans, you need to reactivate it by spraying it with some water or use your eyedropper or your brush to add a little drop of water to it. Then you're going to load your brush with pigment and then add it to your water. Add more pigment than you might think. Don't be afraid to have a deep dark color. The paint will dry lighter on your paper than you think it will. You need a lot of your mixture to complete a wash. You don't want to have to remix and allow your wash to be drying while you're trying to remix. So just make sure you have a lot to begin with. Okay, now you're going to load your brush and start at the top. And we're going to go horizontally across the top of our paper. So you're going to go back into your paint and get some more, and then on this second line you want to barely touch that bead when going across so that the bead is pulled down with the rest of your brush stroke, and it'll create this smooth, even wash, which is what we want. And as your paper is at a 20-degree angle, that bead of paint and water is going to run down to the bottom of that brush stroke. You want that bead. That bead will allow you to go back into your paint and have some time before you get stripes, before you get lines in your wash. You don't want to wait too long, but it gives you a little bit of time. Okay, go through your whole wash, continuing to just go into your paint every time you do a brush stroke, because you want your paint to be even. You don't want it to become weak in some areas, so you want to keep going back into your paint after every stroke. Okay, at the end with your paper towel, you're going to just barely touch that bead and soak it up lightly. Don't go back into your paint or what you've already painted, because it will create blossoms and backgrounds. And you do not want these. You want a nice flat wash. Even if you miss a little spot, you don't want to touch it. To give you an example of what this wash is used for, a lot of times it's used for your backgrounds or as a first layer of color somewhere in your painting. and you build upon these layers to get the value and the intensity that you want in your painting. Our next wash is going to be the gradated wash. Again, you're going to add a lot of water to your palette by using your large brush or your eyedropper. Load your brush with pigment and add it to the water. On dry paper, you're going to again start at the top and horizontally go across the paper, making sure to leave that bead. Go back into your paint and do the same thing as you did in the first wash. You're going to barely touch the edge of that bead and go across again. Do this 1 or 2 more times, going back into your paint each time. The next time, I'm actually going to have you go back into your water. Just add a little bit of water to your paint to dilute it. And then I want you to go again, touch the edge of that bead and go across. Now you're going to see that it'll lighten up. This is what we want to gradate our wash. And each time after that, instead of going back into your paint, I want you to go back into the water. Do not wash your brush off, just straight back into your water and go across. This will dilute your paint, and the pigment that was already there will come down with that bead, and so it'll just get lighter and lighter till it's almost white as you go across. In this part, it was still wet enough that I was able to quickly go back into it. Here you can see I missed some spots, but I can't go back into it because it's already begun to dry. So if I do, that is when I would create those blossoms and backgrounds that I really don't want in my wash. So I'm going to leave it. Most likely it would get covered up, so it's not too big of a deal. You need to go from dark to light, whether it be in a face, in a flower, on a bird. So this allows you to practice and figuring out how to go from that dark pigment to almost white if you want. Okay, we're on our final wash. To create a variegated wash, you need multiple colors. Use your brush or your eyedropper to fill 2 wells with water. Load your brush with one of your colors. In this instance, I use a blue and then a quinacridone rose color. Then, just like we did with the flat and gradated washes, you're going to start at the top. Pick one of your colors that you want to start with, have your brush loaded, and pull your brush across horizontally on dry paper, making sure you have that bead. You want to go across 2 or 3 more times, going back into your paint each time. Then you're going to rinse your brush off and go into your second color. Make sure you're just barely touching that bead as you go across. You're going to see the pigments start to blend. In this case, it's creating kind of a purple color. Continue to go down with your second color all the way to the bottom, each time going back into your paint. You do not want to go into water or you're going to lose your value. Allow your colors to blend. Don't try to control what it does. This is the beauty of watercolors and what sets it apart from oils and acrylics. You're allowing the pigment to just move throughout that water. So an example of what you would use this wash for, mostly you will use it for your skies, for your water, your landscapes. You can use it for your buildings and even people. Just when you want to change colors, but you want it to blend. You don't want this hard, crisp line between those 2 colors.
I hope this video helps you with your washes. Keep practicing so you can master them. Question of the day. Which was your favorite wash? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and following along. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you can be notified when I post a tutorial on how to apply these washes in a painting of your own. And until then, keep on painting.